Theories, theories, theories. If there's one thing that Doctor Who fans like to do, it's speculate and theorise as to what's going to happen in future episodes. And it's been a while since the last Doctor Who theory that I did, and I wanted to put out a little bit of a theory following the teaser that we've had airing on BBC One over the last couple of days that has the Journey's End scene with the Metacrisis hand and Donna saying, "Why did this face come back?" For I have a theory that the Metacrisis is what caused 14's regeneration to be that of David Tennant, a previous incarnation. I must stress, this is not a theory I'm 100% confident in, but it's one that I want to share with you because I think there's some pretty fun little coincidences and details that could actually give this some legitimacy as a theory, even if I'm not as sure of this as I am some of my previous theories. For example, I did a whole theory about how I thought the Toymaker would be responsible, which I still think is more likely, but I think this one is also pretty interesting. But before we get into it, if you could do me a teeny tiny little favour and click that subscribe button, it would be very much appreciated. We are less than 300 subscribers away from 20,000 subscribers. We're so close at this point, and I would genuinely love to get there as soon as possible. I'm going to try and get there by the end of this month. That's the goal I'm setting, because I've been trying to get there for so long. Yeah, help me out. Also, I have other things. I have Twitter, I have Ko-fi, you all know that. But let's get right into it. So yeah, as I said, this kind of spurred from the bit in the teaser that we've been having recently, which shows the hand of the 10th Doctor basically beginning the Metacrisis and the Dr. Donna. For some backstory, essentially, in the Doctor Who episode Christmas Invasion, the Doctor's hand gets chopped off and he regrows a new one via regeneration energy. That hand later gets found by Captain Jack and is basically used to store the Doctor's DNA inside of it. The Doctor then acquires the hand eventually, and in the finale Stolen Earth Journey's End, he transfers his regeneration energy following a fatal extermination from the Daleks into the hand, using it as basically something that he can transfer the energy to retain his current face. This creates what is called a two-way biological metacrisis, in which Donna Noble becomes the Dr. Donna, and also creates a second David Tennant. It's all very confusing. But essentially, my theory is that that hand that was cut off all those years ago might actually be the reason for the 14th Doctor's face. My reasoning for this is quite simple. In The End of Time, parts 1 and 2, it's established that Donna Noble has a safety mechanism for when her memory gets released. She basically bursts into flame and it defends her body from any oncoming, harm that it could receive. With the Doctor even saying the line, "You don't think I'd leave my best friend without any defences?" So it's obvious that even though Donna's memory was erased of all of her memories of the Doctor has placed some contingencies in line for Donna if something was to go wrong. My theory is, what if one of those contingencies was that when Donna Noble came under threat once again, one of Donna Noble's contingencies would activate, causing the Doctor to degenerate back into the face that could help her the best, i.e. David Tennant. It would also be super in line with the character of the 10th Doctor to make any contingency in which he gets to retain his face, even for a short period, especially after being able to do so once before. Also, side note, I know my calendar is now different. That's because I'm recording this after I flip my calendar over. So if that annoys you, I'm sorry, but it's going away now. Now, I'll admit, this doesn't fully explain things like the clothes, for example, which is why I'm still kind of more on board with it being the Toymaker. However, I do find it a fun coincidence that when Donna Noble's mind is basically burning up, she repeats the word binary 14 times. 14 times for binary, 14th Doctor. Could that even be Donna subconsciously knowing when this would happen? Obviously, it doesn't really make sense because John Hurt's War Doctor exists and now the Timeless Child exists, and it doesn't really fully work. But nonetheless, I kind of think that it's a really interesting idea that actually that hand and the Metacrisis is what causes the face to come back. I guess if you really wanted to make it work, you could make the argument that Donna was only privy to the Doctor's knowledge for a brief time, so she might not have had time to learn about the War Doctor, and she definitely would not have known about the Timeless Child, as the Doctor did not know about that at this time. However, we also come into the issue of, by this point, the Doctor thought that his lives would end after 12 regenerations. and obviously he wasn't aware that he could keep on regenerating via either the crack in time or the timeless child. At this point, it's relatively ambiguous which one actually causes the Doctor to keep regenerating and how many incarnations the Doctor can actually have now.
Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
But if you really want to try and make this fit, you can. But I'm not overly convinced that they would go that far in kind of trying to like almost semi kind of justify how she could know that. And personally, this is just a lot of fan brain. And yeah, try not to take it too seriously. I'm just sort of coming up with all different contingencies because I know what you people are like in the comments. You'll come up with, oh, actually, what about this? I've thought of it. Don't worry. This does beg the question, though, what about 10-2, the second 10th Doctor that we see in Stolen Earth Journey's End? And I don't really have a way of kind of factoring him into this. Honestly, if you could think of a way to factor 10-2 into it, that would be really interesting. I don't think the 14th Doctor is the 10-2 Doctor, because how would that even be feasible? How could you transfer a separate organism onto the current Doctor? Obviously, I know that the Metacrisis is technically the Doctor as well, but he has human physiognomy. Then again, that could explain the Doctor's age, because obviously David Tennant ages in real life. The same would be true for a Metacrisis 10th Doctor, who, as we know, cannot regenerate. Another workaround for this, though, could be that the biological transfer of the Metacrisis was that of a human, and judging by that, maybe the hand aged up the Doctor appropriately, given how long they would have actually been away in human time. Again, I realise this is some wild speculative fan brain, but I just really wanted to get this theory out. It was something I came up with at like 1 a.m. in the morning, and I thought, that's a really fun video, and that's a really fun idea, and maybe it's, you know, completely off base, and I think it's more likely the Toymaker has forced this regeneration, but I still think it's interesting that so much focus and emphasis was put on the Metacrisis and the Journey's End scene in that teaser trailer, because I wasn't really expecting it to factor in beyond the fact that Donna's memory was erased, and that's what caused them needing to be erased. But maybe I'm totally wrong. I probably am. But let me know in the comments below what you think. Did the Metacrisis cause the 14th Doctor? Whatever your thoughts are, drop them down in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you later. But hey, that's just a theory. A theory's theory. And cut. Never doing that again.